hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Formula V Weekend Warriors. This is round number 8 of this season, coming to you today from VIR. My name is Ron Maunz, flying solo at the moment. It is a wonderful time to be an iRacing broadcaster, folks, let me tell you that much. This is our favorite time of year because one thing and one thing alone: time zone swaps. I believe it has unfortunately caught out my colleague, Mr. Joshua Wilkie, so I'm flying solo at the moment here in the commentary booth and also working all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler. In fact, I just remembered as I was in a mad scramble to try and get the points loaded in before we got this broadcast up and rolling that I have not changed that. This feels dirty to do. There we go. It's updated there. But welcome in, folks. We've got another fantastic race to look forward to here today. And to get all up and rolling for another week of Weekend Warriors action, we have got these always incredible Formula Vs. And I always look forward to this race, and there's a very good reason why that is the case. They put on some absolutely amazing racing action, and expecting that to be the case here today in round number 8 of the season at VIR. This is a fun track, puts on some mighty fine racing as well, as we see these drivers now rolling out here in this solo qualifying session. A reminder, folks, solo sessions here are the name of the game in these Formula Vs. Only 4 laps allotted to these competitors to try and get the job done. And if you can't peak at the right time, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. So unfortunately, some of these racers may have to feel the burn of the track that is very ominous in an odd sense. This North configuration of VIR doesn't get a lot of love on iRacing, which I think is a bit of a shame. I think it puts on some very good racing, but regardless, these drivers looking to have some fun here. But before we get some times on the board, I think we should probably take a look at the championship points. And now I will warn all of you immediately that if these are not entirely correct, it's because I loaded them right in the final 2 minutes of the 5-minute countdown that you saw a few moments ago. So these may be a little bit askew, but let's start off with Spec 1, shall we, and take a look at the points there. We will not take a look at the points at the moment. That was, you know what, actually, I think I need to do this in a different way. Second tries of charm on championship point standings here in Spec 1. There we go! See, I'm getting good at this production stuff. I'm slowly but surely, I am learning. You can teach an old dog new tricks. That actually really hurt my hands. It's cold in my room right now. That basically shattered all of the nerves in my hands. Felix Samoas is your championship points leader at the moment. 637 points is his tally currently. Tortello is slotted in second at 537. As much as Tor has really shined this season, he hasn't been around for too long, so unfortunately, that's the reason why he's 100 points behind Felix Samoas currently. Guido Marzuki, our very own SMB represents, slotted in third. Well done, Guido. Joshua Justice slotted in fourth with Stefan Heemskirk, Nate Coliseo, Parvin Lador, Michelle Lynn, Chris Montgomery, and Leon Frost, completing your top 10. That's how it looks in Spec 1. And let's take a look now at Spec 2. It's Brian Szynski holding on to the championship points lead there. That could have timed out a little bit better in that. SDK needs a little bit of WD-40 every now and then, but Brian Szynski holding on to the championship points lead right now. Stephen Westcott slotted in P2. Brian Hansen in third. Jason Greider in fourth. Dan Szynski in fifth, who I could see in the YouTube chat a few moments ago, with Brian Belansky, Ken Hadu, Brett Thompson, and David McLean, along with Martin Visser, rounding out your top 10 in Spec 2. And now we will take a nice little look at Masters. There we go. You can cut out this like second or two delay and it would be perfectly on time. Jim Brewster is your current championship points leader. 455 points is his tally. Kurt Nunez slotted in second at 395. So not exactly close between those two, but it is still a little bit closer than Spec 1 at the very least. Wayne Baltimore is slotted in third at 371 points. Alan DeGassis in fourth. Andrew Love, Nick Tolo, Antonio Reese, Stevie Ray, David Fitzgerald, and Jorg Mani complete your top 10. So that's how it looks in the championship points. Let's see how it looks in qualifying as getting some lap times on the board. Josh Justice just jumped up to the top time. That's a 141 for him, but Alan DeGassis, who we were following as I was going through the championship points here, Masters racer, jumping up into P1. Nice time from him. Never mind. Andrew Love gonna jump in front of him right there. The game of leapfrog going on here in qualifying already. Andrew Love currently holding on to that provisional pole. Let's see anybody else who could set a good time here. Michelle Lynn, the sponsor of today's broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting for round 8 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. We'd like to thank Michelle Lynn and Doldime Racing for making this broadcast possible. This jaunt is incredible. See, Michelle would like me to say that as Philly slang that I'm not fully familiar with. I'm from Northeast Philly. Most of the slangs that we have around here are just various swears. Parvin Ladar has just jumped up into third here in this qualifying session. Nice time from him. Currently holding on to your Spec 1 pole, as it's currently an All-Masters Row 1 with Andrew Love and Alan DeGassis right in tow. I like how that was on pretty much the exact same camera shot. Makes it seem like they're on the racetrack together, but never mind. Guido jumping up to the pole there. Nice time from Guido as I get adjusted here in my chair. I have the creakiest office chair in the world. I'm gonna quickly crank up my my mic gain here. I'm not sure if that got caught on the mic. It is a loud chair, I can tell you that much. Probably louder than these cars, actually. You can sometimes hear them a little bit over You can hear my chair over the engine sounds. Oh boy, that I'm not sure whether it just means I need a new chair or I just need to hit this one with enough WD-40 to start a small slip and slide, but no matter how you slice it, that may be something that future me has to deal with. For now, though, present me is seeing Stephen Hicks come across the line to jump his way up into P21 as Alan DeGassis going to move up to the pole, a 1:41.430 for him, holding on to a 10th gap to himself and Guido, who I think is coming across the line in a few moments' time. Here he is heading off through the tight twisties in the mid-sector of this lap. Some wonderful camera angles that we've got here on slow motion broadcasting as well. You absolutely love to see it. Oh no, I've become British all of a sudden. Guido actually looking good in sector 1 with a purple, looking all right in sector 2 with the green. Heading off through sector 3, it's a little bit off as he's in the yellow, but let's see what he can do as he comes across the line here in a few moments' time. You can see him using all of the space available to him as he comes to the line here in this number 19 machine. Will it be a pole from Guido? Not the first time that he's been on the pole thus far this season. If he can get it done as he comes towards the line, is it the pole? It is a 1:41.293 from Guido. Nice time there. Waiting to see any more lap times get set on the board. Here's a good one. This is going to be a cooker. Felix Samoa is up to second. There we go. Your reigning champion has that number 1 on his car for a very good reason, but currently P2 here in this qualifying session. Leon Frost the next to come across the line in the number 59 machine. Let's see what the time is from him. It's enough to put him 7th. It's a 1:41.651, so that is a pretty nice time from him. So well done to Leon, as it's looking like the next driver to come across the line will be Alan DeGassis. Chris Montgomery will actually be next. We'll keep our eyes on Alan here. Not looking good on this lap. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Will it be 4 yellows? It will be 4 yellows. See, I would make a slot machine lemons gambling joke here, but 1, I am not of gambling age. 2, I've never played a slot machine. And 3, I feel like I would try and make that joke, and then I would mess up the delivery, and nobody would know what I'm talking about, and I would think about what I've decided to do with my professional life. Tortello, currently in P5 at the present moment. Let's see what he can do with the number 90 machine. He was doubtful as to whether or not he would be out on the racetrack here today, but he is, as you can see, unless we've ripped a hole in the space-time continuum and he's not actually out there on the racetrack, which, if that were the case, I would probably have some doubts as to my own mental sanity. I'm kidding, obviously. I already have those doubts. But Tortello holding on to P5 at the moment here in this session, and to all of you tuning into the show, if you're enjoying the mad ramblings of a crazy person, I'm going to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on the racing action. See, this is not the first solo show that I've done. Not even the first one this week, actually. I was on a Porsche Club of America show over on a different network, shall we say. It starts with R and ends with a spot, so you can kind of fill in the blanks there. I had to do that 1.5 hour long Porsche Cup race by myself, as my esteemed colleague, Mr. Joe Peak, who I believe has commentated some Weekend Warrior stuff before, back when these shows were on GSRC many, many moons ago. He's a great guy, and was not with him in the booth there, as I believe he's out of town at the current moment, but I believe he'll be back with me in the booth this upcoming Thursday, as our Race Spot TV colleague is actually going to be on the racetrack for that race, Mr. J.R. Gregory, who you can usually catch on the Sim Racers Group broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. It was Alan DeGassis just jumped up to P2 there in the dying breath of this session. There we go. That's a 1:41.355 for Alan, about a 1/10 off of the pole, which I can't necessarily say is a worst effort in the world. That is a pretty good lap time there from Alan, as it's Spec 1 Masters up at the front of the field. Never mind. Tortello going to break that run as I got the rhyme out of my mouth. Tullo jumps into second at a 1:41.3, and he's going to call it a day there. Immediately toes back to pit lane, as does Guido. Well, Alan DeGassis following suit, complete a trio of cars assigned to come into the pits at the exact same time as I try and switch the camera shots away. Don't believe we're going to see that, as he's still out there on the racetrack, as is Felix. Let's run on board with him as he heads his way across the line here soon, and this is definitely not a sneakish way for broadcasters doing a show on their own to sneak in a sip of water. P3 for for Felix as he comes across the line. Nice lap time from Felix as he looks to try and stake his claim on this season championship. A very good time from him there to only be a couple of hundredths of a second off of Tortolo. Let's follow Jim Brewster here. Now, always nice to follow Jim, series admin here in the Weekend Warriors, along with Michelle Lynn, the sponsor of today's broadcast. See, I like this graphic. It's so much fun. I could just hit that button. I don't have to worry about it disappearing. It's timed out for 10 seconds, so once that 10 seconds goes by in about 3, 2, 1. Oh, I was actually a little bit short there. It disappears all on my own. I don't have to press any more buttons. That is producer's dream right there. That is a producer's dream down to a T. But here we go. Jim about to come across a line. Is it a good time from him? Survey says it is, but not enough to move up to a spot at 142.175. Keeps him in P18, but that was certainly a very valiant effort from him as Doug Wegler is out there on the racetrack presently. That's a fun name to say. Nice to see Doug out here on the track. I believe he made his Formula V Weekend Warriors debut a little bit earlier on here in this season and is running good out there on the racetrack as well as Brian Belansky. Nice to see him out there on the circuit right now, and as I saw that gray scheme, it just reminded me the pictures may freeze here for a few moments as I try frantically to clear everything off of your screen yard. I think this would be a good way to do it as we are getting to the end of the session. Not a lot going on out there on the racetrack. I will let you see what's coming up here on slow motion broadcasting as I frantically try and pull up Trading Paints because I was in a mad scramble to get this show up and rolling and did not do that myself. I was on a race spot broadcast a matter of about 30 minutes ago, second Saturday in a row that I've been broadcasting the same series over there, and that was a bit of a ramshackle affair in its own regard too, but never mind. We bowl, as I like to say. We sports bowling. So as we see the stuff coming up, switch back to the action, and a great car. It looks like the scene from SpongeBob SquarePants when they had all the Krabby Patties and on the inside it was all just gray. I'm probably just speaking in tongues to most people tuning into the show. You can tell that I'm Gen Z at some point in time, doubly so, considering that I have the attention span of a goldfish. Belansky heading his way off through the snake section here. This is a fun racetrack, old school as well. I always like to bring this up, kind of talking about VIR, but there's a video on the VIR YouTube channel of them actually touring this track way back in, I believe it was 1997, so quick little history lesson to those of you who aren't fully aware of the history surrounding this absolutely wonderful motorsports edifice. We have a, as I just saw a message from Michelle Lynn. Yes, Michelle, you can come in here and have a pre-race interview before we get the show up and rolling for sponsoring this broadcast. But no, VIR is real unique in the world of racing because it was abandoned for quite some time. It opened back in 1957. It was open through to the late 70s, if my memory serves me correctly, and then from, I think it was about 1979, 1978. I know it was in the mid to late 70s when they shuttered the place down because the original owners didn't really like the unruly crowds that had built up at the facility over time. They decided to shutter the place, and from the late 70s all the way up until the year 2000, the track was fully abandoned, and there was a video kind of touring the track as it was in that abandoned state many moons ago, and is a fascinating glimpse into the history of a pretty cool track. You know, I love VIR. I can't really drive around it too well. Actually, I say that I think I can hold my own here. I usually throw my driving abilities to the wolves just because I think that's a lot funnier instead of me just saying that I'm the greatest driver in the world, point blank period, and there's nobody better than me, which is not true. But I always say that I'm not a good racer. I think I can hold my own around this racetrack. It's a fun track, though. The story behind it, the racing that it holds as well. I mean, IMSA races here for a very good reason. Of course, the SCCA National Championship runoffs were held here for quite some time. It's a fun track, this. I absolutely adore it. I don't think Michelle is going to be coming in to have a chat with us here, though. I saw that message right before, a little after it was sent, as I was going on in the little meandering tirade talking about the history of VIR. But I didn't describe it too well. If you get the opportunity, take a look at the VIR YouTube channel so you can see that, because it is a fantastic video. So do check that out. Once you're done with this broadcast, just to make that super clear, and while you're here, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Business. Gotta hit that subscribe button. Gotta hit that red bell. Oh boy. To all of you tuning into this, I'm not even sure if this is are we still live? Yes, we are still live. To all of you tuning into this broadcast, we like to have some fun here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, and we're certainly having a heck of a lot of fun here today. Gonna have some more fun though, as let's take a look at the starting grid here for this race. That's gonna be, oh boy, it's gonna be Guido Marzucchi starting this race from the pole. Tortello set to join him on the front row. It's gonna be Felix Samos starting this race in third. Next to him will be Alan DeGassis, fourth. Fourth for DeGassis, fifth for Andrew Love, as he's going to be joining Parvin Ladar on row number 3. Rob Wright will start this race in 7th. Alongside him will be Leon Frost. P9 will be Chris Montgomery, with Joshua Justice running at your top 10. Oh, it's me again. P11 will be Trip Isley. P12 will be Michelle Lynn. Looking right behind, we've got Brian Szynski alongside Lars Tyhouse in P13 and P14. Kurt Nunez will start in 15th. Alongside him will be Jason Grider. Brian Hansen will start in 17th. Jim Brewster in 18th. Angel Soto in 19th, with Stephen Westcott completing her top 20. Don Parsons will start this race in 21st. Gary Kittle in 22nd. Brett Thompson in 23rd. Wayne Buttermore will start this race in P24. Have only a few more drivers left to go through, and here they are. Stephen Hicks in 25th, Doug Wegelars in 26th, Brian Belansky in 27th, and David McLean completing her 28-car starting grid here for round number 8 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Delighted to have your company here, folks. This is going to be a fun and a potentially frantic day of racing action. Once again, I want to thank Michelle Lynn for sponsoring this broadcast, but here we go, about to get this race up, rolling, and ready to rock, with Guido Marzucchi and Tortola completing her front row as we go and wait for that green flag to fly in the air. The green flag's that the drivers are on their way, and we're racing today here at VIR. Pretty good start for everybody as they try and make it through the opening series of turns as cleanly as they can. Guido gets off to a good start. Felix Samos gets off to a better one, though. He's jumped into second. Tortolo now having to worry about the pressure from Felix Samos right around him. Look at Alan DeGassis will run on board with him as he heads his way down into NASCAR Bend. Pretty good start from him as he maintains that spot. A little bit of side-by-side battling going on right behind, though. That's Andrew Love and Parvin Ladar duking it out for that spot. Looking at these racers heading off through left hook, which can really punch you in the center of the face. These racers looking to have a good one, and for Guido Marzucchi, it's been a fantastic start. He leads them heading out of the snake. Love to hear the sounds of these Formula Vs as Guido gonna hop the berm coming out of the turn. That is a turn to send us into this tight and twisty infield section that some of the racers in the Formula Fords will have to contend with here in the not too far off future as well. But for Guido, he is coping with the challenge brilliantly, holds on to a lead of not a lot. That is the correct technical term, folks, a lead of not a lot. About a quarter of a second between himself and Felix Samos, another 3/10 between Samos and Tortello. A gap has broken out, though, between themselves and Alan DeGassis, who holds on to the Masters lead over Andrew Love. Meanwhile, over in the Spec 2 category, always want to give some love to the Spec 2 competitors. Your P12 runner of Trip Isley is currently the leader. I will say he is classed as Spec 2, even though he has a Spec 1 number, so I will await, probably after the show is done, I'll have to change the classification of that. Full transparency, folks, I'm running off of driver override files from about a season and a half ago, so some of the information may be a little bit askew, and if that is the case, I do wholeheartedly apologize, but Felix Samos has been able to jump into the race lead over Guido Marzucchi, who's now in P2, and Tortello going to be the rear gunner of this field. Let's actually run on board with Tor as we head our way through NASCAR Bend into left hook of turn number 4. Love to see the sights and sounds of these fantastic Formula Vs. can see the field packing up as they head their way down this small little flat-out blast. One of the longer straightaways on this north configuration. Can't really trump the start-finish straightaway, though. That bit of the track is just absolute madness. I wonder if I can find it. If I can pull up the track map here. Survey says yes. Yes, I can. I need to stop doubting myself here in this production truck. But there you can see the massively long start-finish straightaway. Compare that to the flat-out blast between the S's into the midfield. It's not a lot. It's pretty much the run from the exit of pit lane and the start-finish straightaway through into turn number 1. But compared to everything else around here, it is a straightaway, so we will count it as such. Felix Samoa is your current leader as we see the field head their way onto the start-finish straightaway. The battling going to flare up here, up at the front, flare up all throughout this field. As here we go, Guido gonna try and get the run, as Tolo gonna get the run too. Here they go, nearly 3 wide, heading their way downtown into turn number 1, and who's going to win out in this battle? Give it to Guido as he jumps into that top spot. Felix Samoa's now going to have to worry about the pressure, the pressure being applied to him. Not the pleasure being applied to him. That does not sound like 2 words that he can find in the Oxford English Language Dictionary. Samoa holds on to second. Tortolo and Alan Degas is slotted in third. Degas is still your leader in that Masters category as Trip Isley continues to lead in the Spec 2 class. If that isn't true, though, and he isn't racing in Spec 2, Lars Tiehouse would be your leader in that category. Gotta keep tabs on that. And we will also give some love to Brian Szynski, and I'm not just doing this because his brother Dan is in the YouTube chat. Nope, not at all. Not one bit. Nope. But Nick Fleck, Blarney Quando Fleuren. These racers, though, have their own little battle going on. And Michelle Lynn, a past Spec 2 champion in her own regard, running in Spec 1 here this season in the number 5 machine, running strongly in 11th right now. I shouldn't have said anything, though, because that is the time that the commentator thinks Falling Anvil will come down to crash on her head. So, Michelle, if that does happen, I do sincerely apologize for that, and I will hop out of the broadcast booth in due course. Have had some incidents, though, with likes of Gary Kittle and Wayne Buttermore. Let's take a look at it here as they headed their way down the start-finish stretch. This is across the line there, to be a bit more precise, and heading down into turn number 1. It's Gary Kittle and Wayne Buttermore involved in this coming together. Oh yeah, contact being made into turn number 1. The braking zone can catch out many a racer. And unfortunately for those two, they collide down into the turn. Turn 1 braking zone here at VIR, super brutal, but never mind the braking zone. Look at these drivers trying to outbrake each other into 1. That's Samoa's taking the race lead. Tortolo now trying to take it for himself. Here we go, side by side battling gonna go on. Not sure what happened to my voice there as they head their way down into turn number 2 and 3. This has been a good race so far for these racers up at the front. They've kept it smooth, they've kept it clean, they've kept it consistent as well. I think Stephen Hicks has had his own difficulties to slow it down a little bit here. He's slotted in P27, 3 laps down at the moment, so not sure what the deal is for him. May need to load up a replay to figure out exactly what has gone wrong to that racer there. I think it may have been an incident at the very start as they head their way off into the Titan Twisties on the infield. We will take a look at that right now as it was a little bit beforehand for this potentially. Survey says, oh, that's bizarre. I think that may have been a hardware failure, potentially. It's a rather odd way for that to break up, and no matter what the case may be, he's dropped back to the back. Unfortunately for Stephen Hicks, just realized he's marked as a Spec 1 racer. That was a full-on mistake for me because I tried to change that right at the start. I think I clicked Spec 1 and Spec 2, so I will throw up my hands and say that is my apologies. If you'd like to send an angry hate letter, feel free to do so to slowmotionbroadcasting@gmail.com. Mark your envelopes. I don't like that ginger guy that keeps yapping into my ear on these shows. Anyways, we have got Tortolo leading this field. Felix Samoa's in second. Guido Marzuki running in third for now. As you can see, he has got a whole head of speed behind him. Look at him running right in tow of Tortolo as they head their way down into turn number 1. As look at Samoa sweeping around the outside. What a move from the driver of the number 1 car. It's still not done yet as he's side by side once again with Tortolo as they head their way into turn number 3. Now they're single file. Nice move from Samoa. I can now officially say it without worrying about a commentator's jinx coming down on either of those racers. Do want to give some love to the racers a little bit farther behind, though. I feel like it's tricky. I give my usual colleague. Oh, as Leon Frost runs wide, heading out of 5. That's really going to affect his run. Look at the likes of Josh Justice and others right behind. Justice maybe going to try and take the run down the flat-out blast into this turn, and let's see what he can do in that 099 car. Down into the turn he's going to go on the brakes and down the gear and through into 6th. Will go Josh Justice. Nice move. Leon Frost dipping a wheel off into the dirt at the worst time, and he's going to lose out on some time as a result of all of it. Same time, many times in the span of not too much time there. But as we see these racers run around the grass, which could have a little bit of bits of time, the herb in it there. That was cheap, I apologize. Josh Justice now the lead car of this pack. But the point I was going to say, I give a hell of a lot of props to my usual colleague, Mr. Joshua Wilkie. Him and I have been doing broadcasting for pretty much the exact same time. I got into it as a commentator a little bit before he got into it as a producer, and some of the first shows that he did together were some of the first shows that I did. So him and I have been around for pretty much the entirety of each other's broadcasting careers, and he does a hell of a lot of work to try and keep up with this action, because this is a stressy job trying to run your math and see these racers run at 10/10ths out there on the circuit. You love to see some battling here in the Formula Vs. It's always a little bit unnerving as a commentator when you run out of things to say, but here in the Formula Vs, I usually run out of the superlatives to describe the great racing that we see out there week in and week out. Leon Frost has jumped his way up into that P6 spot. Chris Montgomery right in tow as like a Michelle Lynn trying to maybe make it 3 wide into turn number 4. That would have been a really gutsy stuff from her, but it didn't really work out that way as Josh Justice going to jump in front. Justice looking to try and stop the bleeding at the moment as he is going to lose out on another spot potentially. Side by side actually going on with himself and Rob Wright, the Canadian behind the wheel, the number 11 car, as here they go off into the tight and twisty infield section here on the north configuration of VIR. Fascinating point to raise the fact that even though we're cutting out a big part of the usual full version of VIR, this still has the same number of corners, at least according to the iRacing track map, that the other regular track does. That's a fun little fact, albeit the iRacing track maps can be a little bit odd with turns being marked as 5, 5A, 5B, 5C. They also completely skip out on turn number 13. On all but one configuration, I should say. The Grand Course that we'll be racing for the Formula Fords in a matter of about 24 hours time here in Slow Motion Broadcasting. They're actually going to be using that, and they have turn number 13 marked off in it with a turn name that I cannot say on this broadcast without getting this broadcast age restricted, demonetized, and have YouTube slap Josh over the wrist, because he's the one that owns all of the monetization side of things. I've got that with my own channel, and trust me, I know sometimes those slaps from YouTube can sting quite a lot, as Felix Samoas has now jumped into that P1 spot. Tortola looking to fight back, though, slotted in second, not able to get that move done, though, as they head their way into turn number 3. The battling is still going to be intense between these racers between now and the checkered flag, as we'll jump back to the battling. Going on a little bit farther behind, it's Josh Justice, everybody. It's Josh Justice and company with Chris Montgomery and Rob Wright duking it out for P8 right in tow, as Wright has actually got some battling right behind him involving Trip Isley and Michelle Lynn. Will raise, based off the statistics that I've got, Trip Isley is a he's a Spec 2 competitor. I was going to try and play that off as a cough. That was just me tripping over my own words. But Trip Isley not tripping over himself, as he's on track for, based off the information that we have, for a Spec 2 win. If not, that would be Lars Tiehaus inheriting that spot in the 535, as he is right behind Michelle Lynn. In fact, let's ride on board with Lars as he adds his way out of roller coaster into hog pen here soon. Always love to see the sights and sounds of these Formula V races, and love to see this sight, at least from my perspective. Tortola probably doesn't want to see this, though, with Felix Samoas on the inside and Guido Marzucchi on the further inside there. He's going to fight back. Here we go from Guido, trying to take P2 from Felix Samoas as they head their way out of 1 into 2 and 3 right about now, and Samoas going to use that inside line to his full advantage and full effect, jumps into second there. Meanwhile, right behind, got to give some love to your current Masters leader of Alan DeGassis and Andrew Love, who just ran wide into turn number 4. Not the moment that he wanted for sure, but that is going to take him out of that fight, and he may very well fall into the crutches of the likes of Josh Justice, Leon Frost, and Chris Montgomery a little bit farther back in tow. As look at this train of cars, that is insanity. I don't even want to switch to an onboard shot here of Josh Justice. I think I'll have to briefly. That is madness to see that in your rearview mirror. That is horrifying, as well as Leon Frost going to pick up a +2 there, so 4 seconds added on to his time at the end of this race. The autocrossers will get that reference. Leon Frost holding on to P8 right now as he is trying to get his bearings straight after that running wide moment heading into the infield, as that may be one of the first times on a broadcast in quite some time that my brain caught up with my mouth in live time. You can hear me break out in laughter right as I realize what I just said. See, I'm waiting for just... I was going to say I'm waiting for a message in the YouTube chat to tell me to catch my breath, as that right there was Trip Isley. He's going to have the opportunity to catch a spot a little bit farther in the back of this train as he ran wide, heading out of Hog Pen onto that start finish straightaway, drops down to 11th. It is now an All Masters and Spec 2 top 10. That is a little bit surprising to say. We don't usually see that here in this series, as holy cow, they're nearly 3 wide between Chris Montgomery, Josh Justice, and Leon Frost. Up a little farther up the road is Andrew Love, and we'll slowly but surely see that car hove into view as the side-by-side racing dies off, heading down into 3. Let's look from Chris Montgomery's perspective. Let's just see. Yeah, there you can see that number 944 car of Andrew Love slowly but surely hoving into view. I think hoving is a word of the day here on this broadcast, at least in my book, potentially. I'm not too sure. We'll also say I will give some love and say in another installment of Producing is Difficult, Don Parsons, not marked off in any category right now. He is actually a racer in Spec 2. So he is running in P25 at the current moment. Didn't register him a little bit earlier on in this race. I do apologize. I'll give some love to him as he heads his way down the start-finish stretch into turn number 1. I just saw the gray blob there on the track. Okay, he's back. To see the gray blob on the track map, and I was like, oh man, that is sad. I had everybody but one. Everybody but one. Golly gosh darn dang dollary doodah day. Come on down to the dollar store today. Felix Samoas holds on to the race lead. Alan DeGassis has been able to make a charge. He's been able to jump in front of Guido and Tor, but now Guido gonna look to try and fight back on the high side. Here we go as they head their way down into turn number 1. Alan DeGassis thought about it, going down the inside and running off into the grass, heading down the start finish stretch into 1. He's gonna get shown the door and get shuffled back to 4th as Guido Marzuki jumps into that top spot. Felix Moes in 2nd. Tortullo rounds out your top 3. So I think there may have been some drama going on a little bit farther behind. Yes, there has been some drama. That's Brian Zazinski and everybody else dropping back in tow. It's himself and Parvin Ladar coming to blows, heading down into turn number 1. It was only a matter of time with how hard those competitors were battling before something was going to break out. Unfortunately, it has broken out here. Let's take a look at this from the SMB chopper cam as they head their way downtown into turn number 1. The horseshoe. Sometimes that horseshoe can slam into your face just as tricky as a horseshoe would in real life if it was thrown your way. There was the contact, and unfortunate stuff for Brian to get caught up in the midst of all that. The iRacing glue going to get caught out in that big time. I actually want to see from his perspective, because this is there's really nothing that he could do in this situation, which makes it all the more frustrating to a certain degree to see that go on. That is a bit of a shame for him. Very much so a shame indeed, as here we go. Contact made. Yeah, picking his way through the smoke, really nothing that he could do. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think I've read that statement in the fortune cookie before. Unfortunately for Brian Stasinski, that's going to take him out of the fight. He's now shuffled down in P18, and I will apologize for potentially throwing a jinx Brian's way. That right there was the unmistakable sound of metal snapping I just heard in my ear. I think Brian Hansen, yep, that was some drama with Brian Hansen. We're going to load up a replay to see exactly what happened there, as I think Kurt Nunez was actually the main catalyst in all of this. Let's see as they head their way off into roller coaster. We got Kurt Nunez running right in front. And looking good here. Looking good for now. Oh, no, he What in the world just happened? He spun and blew up his motor in one shot. I'm going to take another look at that. I'm sorry, Kurt. I am not highlighting this just to make you feel bad or anything. I am highlighting this because I think this is the first time that I've seen the double whammy go on here in one shot. Blew up his motor and spun at the same time. Oh, as that right there just completely screwed it. So we will cut to live cameras and try that one again. That right there was me hitting the go to the leader button right as I was trying to hit the play. As let's see this once again. Let's listen in. Oh, okay. So, okay, I thought he spun and then money shifted. No, it was the other way around. He money shifted and then spun. Is it money shift or money shot? See, there are many terms that I'm familiar with. Nick Fleck, Blarney Quando Flern being one of them. However, I am not. I need to get. Oh, I need to get my vernacular taught here to me as Brian Belansky trying to get out of harm's way. Gotta feel bad sometimes with the lap traffic in these races, just seeing the drivers come up as if they're Exocet missiles. That is a terrifying view if ever you saw it. As here we go, Guido and Felix gonna fight it out, heading down into turn number 1. They are 3 wide as Tortolo gonna split the difference. Who's gonna win out in this fight? They've been battling oh so hard for oh so long, and they keep it clean once again. Marzuki jumping up into that top spot. Tortolo slotted in P2. Everybody else keeping honest in toes. I think there may have been some drama going down a little bit further behind. Yes, there has. That is 3 wide racing, pure unbridled madness. Our cameraman Phil in the SMB helicopter is getting his money worth here as he needs to keep his eyes on so much stuff. That right there was Rob Wright running off the circuit, heading down into turn number 3. He's going to drop down to the tail end of this pack, now running in 11th. That is an unfortunate moment for him, as I think Lars Tiehaus may have had a bit of drama in his own regard there, but if the current graphics are to be believed, Trip Isley, who I think just disappeared. No, he's back. Okay, there we go. I thought the aliens had gone another one. I was really worried there. Oh, is that Leon Frost going off the circuit right in front of Trip Isley? Perfect time for me to do my alien sounds. See, commentating a race solo and doing it for the second time in the matter of 2 days, 3 days, can be a little bit tricky there. That right there. Oh, my cough drops are going to get used quite a lot after I'm said and done with this show here tonight. Leon Frost holding on to 6th at the current moment. Andrew Love slotted in P5. You know, despite the fact that I was thinking that Andrew was just going to get shoot up and spat at, hasn't necessarily been the case. He has lost toe of everybody farther up the road. That could be a blessing in disguise because these racers are battling as if it's a last lap every single lap, which can be exciting. It can also be horrifying from my perspective here on the broadcast booth. I'm waiting to see a driver strike the moon. It's doubly scary for our producer Frank, our cameraman Frank in the SMB blimp, as he I always say these jokes come time for the Crash 'em Up Wreckfest at the very end. This is the only broadcasting company on the entirety of iRacing where we have to have insurance to protect our drones, our blimps, and our helicopters from collisions with auto racing vehicles. Only here on SMB. Only here on SMB. And if you're enjoying the action, have to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of it. As Guido Marzuki is certainly enjoying his spot up at the very front of the field. Holds on to the race lead right now, as he has done for a decent chunk. I'm not going to say that this is Guido's day, because every single time that I do, it usually ends in disaster, and I won't get through tomorrow's Weekend Warriors shows and only have to worry about Adam meowing into my ear. If you want to tune into all that, how about you hit that subscribe? Oh, nope, that's a wrong graphic. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of it. There's a lot of buttons in a production truck, folks. I can tell you that much. As Guido still being the Pied Piper of this field, as Tolo right in tow. And this is where it gets a little bit scary, a little bit hair-raising, nerve-wracking, I think would probably be the best term to describe it. 8 minutes left on the clock for Tolo, Marzuki, DeGassis, everybody in the field, unless they've ripped a hole in the space-time continuum. They're at the very end, which I don't think is the case, albeit, you know, I've never met Neil deGrasse Tyson in real life. I won't really know about that sort of astrophysics stuff. The only stuff I know about sort of astrophysics and the science of the universe is tuning into the old Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman show on the Science Channel as a kid. And that was actually my second favorite show on that channel, the other being How It's Made. Maybe I could commentate a race one day in the same tone that the How It's Made kind of voiceover guy did. It took me the longest time to realize that show wasn't actually American. They made it up in Canada, which I would have known a little bit earlier had they said sorry. Then I think I would have known that rather quickly. Leon Frost has just picked up a slowdown. Yet again, he goes off the circuit, heading his way out of turn number 5. He's going to get chewed up and spat out here. Let's run on board the gearbox camera. See these drivers slowly but surely hove into view. And I think he may be able to get this slowdown cleared with not too much damage being done. Gets a bit of a snap out of the turn, going to lose out on that spot to Trip Isley, and maybe lose out on another one to Montgomery, as actually, Frost going to really have to pull over to make sure he can clear that slowdown in time. Gets it dealt with in a firm but efficient manner, and is now down in 8th. Not an ideal set of circumstances for him, but hey, it could be a heck of a lot worse. I've read that in a fortune cookie before as well. I eat out at Chinese food places quite a lot of times. We'll go through my my go-to Chinese food order real quick. Fried pork dumplings and a cheesesteak roll. I'm from Philadelphia. Do you really expect anything else? Tortello holds on to the lead. Never mind, it's Samoas holding on to the lead. Will Marzuki hold on to the lead now? Let's find out. It's basically like the handle of a public restroom. Everybody's got their hands on at some point in time, and nobody necessarily owns it until that restroom finally closes down for the night. Oh, as you can see, Tortello and Felix Samoas so close to coming to blows as they headed their way into turn number 3. I had to take a moment to pause to kind of process what just came out of my mouth there. This is a fun one. We're having a good show here. And hey, all of you tuning into this broadcast on Slow Motion Broadcasting, hope you're enjoying it, because I know I am. As much as it is a slow descent into a man going insane, I'm not going insane. I'm just having a heck of a lot of fun here. This is nice. I've got a giddy ear-to-ear grin on my face, just saying the most outrageous stuff and not having Josh tell me that I need to check myself into some sort of mental ward once the show is said and done. I'm kidding. That's usually my dad that says that. Felix Samoas holds on to the race lead about a quarter of a second between himself and Tortello. I've got the giggles going on the show right now. I think I'll use this as a good time with 5 minutes left to jump on board with Felix, probably from the gearbox cam, and slowly but surely see these drivers close up that gap in the blink of an eye, and use this as a good time to take a sip of beverage. And perfect timing for me to do that, as Tortello gonna try and take the run. Guido gonna have a good run as well. Let's see from his perspective. That's a nerve-wracking situation to find yourself in, boxed in like a can of sardines. And here we go. Heading down to turn number 1. Doesn't go for it down the inside, but Tortello does. Side by side at the apex, Tolo slightly ahead. And here comes Felix Samoas, going to try and keep that momentum rolling on the high side. Will he keep it going? Will he be able to jump into that spot? Let's see. He will not. He will not. Proving us wrong yet again. Tortello, now your race leader. Well, give some love to the battling going on a little bit farther behind those. It has been rather strong. It's Chris Montgomery, Leon Frost, Josh Justice, and Trip Isley going for a spin heading out of turn number 5. It was going so well for him. Then it goes poorly. Turn number 3, my apologies. But either way you slice it, he's out of contention. Toes back to pit lane. That's a heartbreaking moment for him. Was involved in that battle for so long. It was going so well for so long. That goes so badly so quickly as Leon Frost gonna fight Chris Montgomery for this spot. That's into turn number 7. That's some gutsy stuff from him, and he made it work. Well done to Leon Frost to hold on to that spot there. As I gotta say, with all this battling behind, I was worried about Andrew Love maybe falling into their crutches. That hasn't happened. As my
Yeah, I'm here with you now, Ron. I'm muted, but at the moment, but I'm here.
Hello, Mr. Joshua Wilkie. You're muted on your end. You're not muted on mine. So welcome into the show. We're having a good time here as we got 3 minutes left in this race. I'll keep you up to speed. It's been clean. It's been hectic, and he came in a bit cryptic as Tortello is still fighting with Felix Samoas for this race. I got the production feed up for you so you can see this 5-car pack and this 5-car battle for the very end. It's a good wake-up call to see some great Formula V action.
It is great. I can see it now. Guido's up there as well. You got a good 5-car pack here. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't change my alarm, so unfortunately I missed the start of today's race. I'm really glad you were able to catch it up here, but I'll let you keep going. Looks like Felix Samoas, Tortello again, not where you want him to be behind you like this near the wee hours of the race. He's going to find a way to make it up to the front, but looks like I missed a pretty good one here, Ron. I'll let you continue.
Oh, you are more than welcome to be here in the booth with me, Josh. I already had you on the graphic still as joining me in the commentary booth because I'm sure my screaming in your backyard would probably wake you up at some point as Felix Samoas, still the Pied Piper of this field. Comment, I believe the white flag, not this time by, but next time by. So the tension is starting to rise in this battle. I described the battle for the race lead and the race lead itself as essentially being like the handle for the door of a public restroom. Everybody's got their hands on it, but nobody fully owns it. Everybody's been leading. We've seen Samoas in the race lead, Marzuki in the lead, Tullo in the lead as well. I think all these cars in the shot have a very good shot to get the W.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. I mean, we've been watching these 4 or 5 drivers battle with each other. Actually, 6 with Leon Frost there in the back. A little bit of a dark horse perhaps, but able to get up to the front, and we know it. And anybody in this train here could win this one. Andrew Love kind of in a pretty good position here as well. I'd really like to see Guido get one of these as he just takes the lead here now. He's owed, well, not owed, he's due one of these, I would say. He needs to get a win, man. And he's had so many close ones here. We're just going to formation fly into T1, one of the best passing opportunities around here. Guido's going to hold on to that one side by side with Samoas and Tortello in the back there, giving Andrew Love a pretty good shot here. This is not an easy section to go too wide through. I'd want to try to sort it out by the time I got here. We'll see how this works out for them.
Yeah, it's a little bit late on the gun, but we'll bring it up here. The white flag in the air, one more lap of racing action here at VIR. That's Guido Marzuki up at the front, but Tortello, the photo finish fiend, is slotted in second. That may be his new nickname. That may not be received too well. Tor, we say it with love. He's always the one that gives us these photo finishes, but Felix Samoas gonna try and stick his nose in it as well. Let's ride on board with him here in this cockpit shot, heading up the hill into turn number 8. I think Felix just got that move done on Tor, and there they go side by side coming out of it. Guido, meanwhile, gonna have to worry about the drama behind, whether or not anybody is going to be close enough to him to be able to challenge him at the very end. If Guido can get the W here today, this would be historic, and it would be fantastic as well. Samoas and Tullo continue to duke it out in front. I think that's giving Guido everything that he needs to try and win this race. Looking from the back of Guido's car as he heads his way through Hogpen for the final time, unless Felix Samoas has a head of speed and a head of steam. This may be Guido's for the taking. Let's ride on board with Felix. Let's see how it's all going to go down. I don't think he has a run, even though that gap is closing. Tullo gonna pull out to get the move done. They're not gonna close up enough. Guido Marzuki gonna finally break through to win it here at VIR.
Yeah, really happy to see that win from Guido today. So we know who has the answer for Tor now. It was Guido today for sure, and he deserves this one for sure. He's been up at the pointy end more than a few times, and he's I wouldn't say timid driver, but maybe not the pointiest driver either. He'll back out of those situations when it looks like it's getting silly, and it's probably cost him a couple wins. Honestly, it's also probably saved him a few noses of race cars as well. But really, really glad to see him get that win today. Tor, of course, going to squeak in that second at the last possible moment there, as he usually does, and Felix coming in third. So too bad I missed this one early this morning here, but at least I caught Guido's win, and that makes my day.
And we were able to catch all the action here on slow motion broadcasting from lights to flag. What a day. What a day for Guido. What a day for everybody here on the racetrack. They kept it smooth. They kept it clean. They put on a darn good race as well. As much as my vocal cords may be feeling a slight burn, they're usually feeling a burn with my broadcasting. So don't worry. See, I've been called out by myself. I was meant to do a broadcast It was like a week and a half ago. It wasn't before the time zone change, but it was just my eyes deceiving me. I thought that the show was meant to start at, I think it was 2:50. Instead, it started at 2:20. So I was like, oh, I got a message at like 2:18 in the afternoon being like, hey, where are you? Everything all right? And I was like, yeah, we go live in a half an hour, correct? And they were like, no, we go live in 2 minutes. I was like, oh, so I had to book it to
I wouldn't have even known if I turned the TV on. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't right.
Wait a gosh, golly,
so I think it's a time change, but as well as we actually do the race an hour earlier. So not only does the time change, but the race actually jumps an hour earlier too. I just plumb didn't forget or forgot to change my alarm clock on my phone last week. So unfortunately, I missed the start of this one. But we got Ron here to fill you in, and he's better than me at this anyway. He's probably the best fill you could ask for around here. But back to the racing though.
I'm better at yapping.
Yeah, that's for darn sure. Yeah,
your yapping has substance.
There we go. Yes, I have improved over the but I have a lot of good people to listen to and learn from around here. I think is really what it is, and yeah, we're able to get this done. I'm really glad you're able to pick it up without me though, so we can get this in here as we're gonna watch them burn it down. Guido looking for a jump here. Yeah, that's probably the best one we've seen yet. There, not really a whole lot of spot on VIR North to get her done that way. I don't think to smash it into stuff around here, but we're going to find a way if there is one. And Michelle Lynn with the Dull Dime Racing for today's sponsor. Thank you very much. Round 8. I can't believe we're this far into the season already, Ron.
Yeah, it's been a darn good season of Formula V Weekend Warriors action, too. We've had a fantastic selection of races ever since the drop of the green flag, all the way back at round number 1. I'm trying to remember, were we at Oldham Park? I think that was round 1 for season 4 of 2024. I would usually have my notes up for this show, but I've just been yapping about all other different kinds of bull feces, so I haven't really had the opportunity to take a look at my notes, but let's take a look at the results here for round number 8 of this incredible Formula V Weekend Warriors season, and run you through the order by the end of it all right here. And survey says if I can hit the right buttons in the right order, here we go. Nearly pulled up the practice results. That wouldn't have been very efficient for us, now would it? Guido Marzuki gets the W here today. 0.3 of a second the gap at the end between himself and Tortello. Felix Samoa sets a round at your podium in 3rd. Alan Degassis walks away with the W in the Masters category, finishing this race in 4th overall. Andrew Love is classed in 5th with Joshua Justice in 6th. Lars Tyhouse wins it in Spec 2, finishing this race in 7th. Michelle Lynn finishes in P8. Very happy that I didn't put a commentator's jinx on her here tonight. Jim Brewster, other series admin, along with Michelle, finishing right behind in 9th with Angel Soto completing your top 10.
Yeah, and then in 11th, we have Chris Montgomery, 12th, Jason Grider, in 13th, Brian Hansen, 14th, we have Stefan Westcott, in 15th, Brian Shazinski, in 16th, Wayne Buttermore, in 17th, Brent Thompson, and in 18th, we have Parvinder Ladar.
And that's a perfect time for me to get the WD-40 out on the graphics and roll it over one more tiny bit here. There we go.
There we go. And what do we got? 19th, we have Gary Kittle. 20th, we have Doug let's see here. Weglars. In 21st, we have Don Parsons. In 22nd, Leon Frost. In 23rd, Brian Belinsky. In 24th, we have Trip Isley. 25th, Rob Wright. 26th, Kurt Nunez. 27th, Stephen Hicks. And in 28th, we have Dave McLean, 18 laps down, bringing out the back of the field.
And so that rounds out your field here for round number 8 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors here at VIR. A pretty darn good race, if I do say so myself. Oh no, I slipped into a southern accent there. The last time I did that ended in disaster here on SMB, so I think I'll try and slip out of that as quickly and efficiently as I possibly can. And I think we'll get the interviews up, rolling, and ready to rock, because there's one man that I want to have a chat with more than anybody. It is your Spec 1 winner and overall winner here in round number 1, not round number 1, for the first time here this season for round number 8 of the championship. The camera will actually switch here. I don't think it's cooperating with me right now. There we go.
There we go.
Second tries a charm. Let's have a chat with our SMB colleague, Mr. Guido Marzuki. I'll drag him into the broadcast booth right now to have a chat. Guido, welcome in. It's finally the victory for you, buddy. How was it out there?
Oh, and his mic's not working.
Ah, dang it.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there we go.
There
we got you now, Guido.
Yeah. I okay.
Yeah.
Okay, better now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Gotcha, 5x5.
Okay. Yeah, finally. Finally, I got the win.
Finally, indeed.
Man of
Yeah, it was a great race with all the guys up ahead, with Thor, Felix, and Alan, and also Andrew. It was tough, but I knew that if I had a chance to win a race, it was on this track, because, you know, I'm the Prince of Virgins. This is my house, my rules, my track, and yeah, it went good. I wanted to be ahead on the last lap, because it worked the only time I won against her in the other league run by Stevie, the Wednesday night league. And so I wanted to be ahead on the last lap. I wanted to be ahead because I was hoping for Felix and Thor to fight for position. And yeah, I was lucky because it went that way. So I had the gap to go to the line uncontested. And yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, I can imagine you were very happy about this result. I was going to say that you won in the old Ray Esports Wednesday series last season here at this track. I know that they're going to be racing round number 1 for the Group 3 action from the Ray Esports Club Racing League on Wednesday. Are you maybe going to stay up, because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you when that race goes on? Are you going to be out there on the racetrack for that? I'm not even sure where they're racing at, which is saying something, because I think I'll be on that show.
Maybe it's 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I will try. It's Road Atlanta full course, if I remember correctly. I will try. I will definitely try. But I don't know. It pretty much depends on the working schedule next day. If I can oversleep a bit, I will try to make it. If I have an early call in the morning, it will be more difficult, but for sure I will try.
Pretty much all depends on 2 things: your work schedule and any sort of insomnia that you may suffer from that night. Pretty much. So, but Guido,
much, you know, you know me. I don't sleep that much, so it's not that a problem. But I have.
Just like
I already stay awake late for the other league that I run on Thursday nights, and the race ends past 4 a.m. So I can do it once a week, no problem. But 2 or 3 times a week, yeah, it starts to be difficult to be on spot working the next day. So I will try, but I cannot guarantee at the moment.
well, if we do see you out there on the racetrack, it'll certainly be good. I know that I'll be seeing you here in the production truck tomorrow for some Weekend Warriors action with the FFs and the SRFs. But Guido, we'll let you give any thanks or shout-outs before we let you go and celebrate this W.
To Team Ginetto for the win. Is a real-life racing team, which I'm part of. Even if I don't race with them, I'm an honorary member. So shout out to them and to all this league, to Stevie, Jim, Michelle, and everybody who makes this league so special. Best league ever.
Yeah, I'd love to see you out there on the racetrack, Guido, and well done on the W. It's been a long time coming, but man, congratulations. Proving yourself to be the Prince of Virgins here today, Guido. Thank you for joining us in the booth, and congratulations on the win.
Thanks for having me.
And that right there was our SMB colleague, Mr. Guido Marzuki, joining us here in the broadcast booth. And I think we also have the opportunity to have a chat with our P2 finisher in the Masters category here today, Andrew Love. I will pass it off to you, Josh.
Sure.
I actually have to drag him into the booth myself. There we go.
I got him. There you go. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? Good race there today. You're able to pull out a podium. We've been here a few times before.
Yeah.
Any tricks you learned last time that helped you out this time?
Try to stay with the lead pack, which I almost did this time. So, yeah. No, I think I'm understanding hog pen a lot better with this car. I think I've got a better line through there. So I just feel a lot more comfortable at this track now.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That's one of the harder corners around here for sure. And that, the VIR North layout, not one of the worst sort of club layouts that I've been around before. I've always kind of enjoyed driving around here, and some passing opportunities and stuff. Good drag down the front. Guido able to pull out that win today.
Yeah,
it looks like drafting around here down that front straight almost looked like he was going to be able to almost looked like or Felix was going to be able to catch him there. That last drag being super important to get it all done there for sure. But yeah, definitely a pretty technical course out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how much the car behind drafting on you affects you trying to draft the car ahead. I haven't really been able to do the math on that, but I think there is a little bit of a handicap being pulled backwards by the car behind you.
All right, you're getting a bit of a buffer there, a buffet going on between the two or something behind you. Yeah, I've always wondered that myself, if the aerodynamics in this got quite that technical, because you would think it would actually maybe pull a little drag, like having the tailgate down or something in your pickup truck on the highway.
Yeah.
You'd actually think it makes you faster. It makes you a lot slower. That kind of thing. Pretty interesting though, actually. Maybe that's something we can look into for some further ones. But good racing today for sure. Is anybody like to thank out there?
I want to thank Michelle for sponsoring. I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. It's always a great show. I always go back to watch it on the big screen. I want to thank Jim for putting everything together, putting the league and managing the league. I want to thank Stevie and Michelle again for also doing their background stuff with the league. And thank all the viewers and thank all the other racers. It's a good time.
Right on. I actually, you know what? We're just getting a note here. We're at Lebanon in the rain next time. I just get your perspective on that one quickly before we let you go.
Scary. Jim supposedly has done some practices, and he reports that it is pretty scary and slippery. So I have not done any practice there yet, so it should be good. It should be good.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one for everybody for sure. Right on. Well, we will see you next week. Have a good week.
All right, thanks everybody. See ya.
And that right there was Andrew Love. I don't know why I quickly slipped into a southern accent there. It's
the new thing.
Yeah, I guess slipping into a southern accent is my new shtick here in the broadcast booth. It started off with the harmonica, moved into the falling anvils, and now I'm just going to talk like a southern truck driver here moving forward. But Josh, that was a darn good race. I gotta say, you missed a good one, and I will apologize for some of the very bizarre things that came out of my mouth a little bit earlier on. Nothing bad and nothing that'll get us demonetized on YouTube, but some interesting things talking about public restroom door handles. It was a fun show, I can assure you that much. I think you got a kick out of it looking back, but we do have some upcoming shows as well.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get a quick look at those. So tomorrow we have the FFs at Long Beach, and then the Spec Racer Fords at VIR Grand, which should be a pretty interesting one. I'm actually going to miss both of these again because unfortunately I'm just not healed up enough yet to be able to get my foot on a pedal. But that one's going to be really interesting at VIR Grand, I think, Ron. I'm really interested to see that one. I'm really bummed out I'm missing it. I really like Long Beach as well, and the FF should be a great one. XSLR, of course, right after that at Daytona Rallycross. It's going to be our first round of the jumpy cars. Another one I'm really bummed out I'm actually missing. That one should be great. I don't think we've done any Rallycross stuff on SMB in a very long time, so we're really looking forward to that one. SRG F4, of course, on November 11th. I'll be producing that one at Aragon. Should be a great one. The F4 guys getting faster and faster and faster every week. Probably going to get some promotions to F3 and stuff out of a few of those drivers there for next season. And speaking of F3, heading to Donington GP, another one of my favorite tracks in the F3 car. Hoping I'm going to actually be able to make that one. Probably not. I'll probably have another show I have to do, but if I can, I'll be out there on that one as well. And that should be a great one in the F3 car. Nice flowing, fast track for there. And then we're on Lebanon in the rain, as we were just mentioning before here with the Formula V. Is going to add a bit of a layer to the whole thing for sure. Lebanon being a hard enough track as it is, add some rain to it could be very, very difficult. And then, of course, we're back to the FFs again at Oran Park on Sunday. And then the Spec Racer Fords at International Enzo Edino Ferrari Grand Prix. I tried that and I got it.
And that right there, in layman's terms, is Imola for the Spec Race Ford. That's going to be
That's right.
That's going to be a pretty wild one. We got some darn good races to look forward to. I had it wrong throughout this entire show. I thought it was a Formula Fords that are running at VIR on the Grand Course. It's Spec Race Fords. Shows you everything that I know as a commentator for those. But no, nonetheless, folks, what a day of action. What a day here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. If you have enjoyed the show, happy to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. I need some WD-40 for my tongue, I think, once we're done with all this show. But with everything taken care of, I once again want to thank Michelle Lynn for sponsoring this broadcast. Michelle Lynn and Dull Dime Racing making this show possible. However, I think that will just about do it here for round number 8. So for myself, Ron Maunz, and Josh Wilkie joining me here in the commentary booth, I say thank you all so very much for tuning into the action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting today, and we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.